Hi, this is Ryan, houseofthompson.net, and doing a little family history vlogging, and just wanted to share my love for my grandfather, who is passed away, and even though he's passed away, he still continues to bless us. Received notification that he left me a little bit of money, just a little gift, and it came at a time when, once again, we're in a rough spot, and this is just, I don't know, it's not a lot of money, it's enough to help us, and it's in a time when we need it, just like in several times in recent history. One time I had $5 bill saved from a birthday check he gave me, and we were on vacation in Santa Cruz, we were in Humboldt, and my family were on vacation, and there was a problem with my bank account. And even though I had money in there, it wasn't letting me access it, and we were out of money, we were out of luck, and we were about 60 miles away from a bank or a gas station or anything. And anyway, we ended up using this $5 at this little gas station that we found on the GPS, and it got us to the bank, and we were able to straighten our situation out. And that was from him. And I'd been saving that money for like 2 years, and I just had it in my wallet, and it was just great, that he did that. And then at another time, it was the day he passed away. It was October 24th, and it was like right before, it was minutes before he passed away, or before. I guess he didn't pass away. It was just a couple of days before. It was on the Saturday before he passed away, and he had an aneurysm. And I didn't know it at the time. I had no idea that he was even sick or that he was suffering. And it was just before he had this aneurysm. But we were out of food, and I was a couple days away from payday. And I never get that low on money, but we've started this new business, and we've got new ventures that we're working on. And anyway, I needed to use it, so I pulled this money out of my wallet and used it. And I said, it's probably for the best. I took a little snapshot of it, and I posted it on Facebook, and that $20 bought us enough food to get by for the next couple of days. And then I got an email from one of my sisters saying that, your grandpa's sick, and, he just had an aneurysm. Anyway, this whole week has been really frustrating financially. We're making new adjustments to accommodate our business, and we're pretty low on money and on food. And then I get a notification from my aunt that my grandpa left me a little bit of money. And once again, it's not a huge sum of money, and I didn't ask for it. In fact, anytime anybody's offered to give me anything, I try to not take it. I try to be strong enough to get by without things. But this is one of those times when I really needed it, And I guess maybe there's guilt, or maybe it's just, time to say something about it. But my grandpa always wanted me to join the Mormon Church again. I left the Mormon Church a long time ago, back in 2000. Got my name removed from the Mormon Church records. I wasn't like excommunicated. Some people get excommunicated. But I willingly left. It was a principle thing. It wasn't like I was in some deep sin that they were going to chastise me for or anything like that. It was just that I was convicted that Jesus Christ was the answer to my life, and that I didn't need religion to get to Jesus. That I found a relationship with Jesus without all the, religious bureaucracy that the Mormon Church offered. And my family, my mother and father later would get married in the temple. Their whole lives they didn't have much to do with the church, and they smoked and drank when they were kids, but eventually they got married in the temple, and I kind of felt like an outsider because I didn't have anything in common with pretty much anybody in my family, and I didn't really get along with many people in my family prior to that anyway, except for my dad and my little brother Justin. And not even my grandpa and I saw eye to eye, but I always looked up to him. He was always a man of integrity. He taught me how to work hard. I looked up to him for all of his, moral conviction. And even though we didn't see eye to eye, it was just a good inspiration in my life to have him there. I remember when I was 3 years old and we had just got done chopping wood, and Grandpa had it all kind of stacked up, but he was going to move it, and I was helping him move it. I was bringing him wood, and I said, "Grandpa, am I a good worker?" And he said, "Yes, Ryan, you're a good worker, and I'm proud that you're in my family." And I always remember that he told me I was a good worker. And it always motivated me to be self-sufficient and to work hard and to be proud of a job well done. And I don't have him anymore. I do miss him. I do miss him greatly. But the thing I wanted to say, my grandmother, my step-grandma, Maureen, his last wife, my grandma June passed away in '91, and then my grandpa remarried. And his new wife, Maureen, wrote me this Christmas and told me about, where she's at. We're glad she's, in a care home where she's able to be taken care of. And she told us about that. And she said, your grandpa didn't understand why you had such a problem with the Mormon church and why you left, And I've been doing genealogy lately. This is about this houseofthompson.net website that I started last year. And, I've been doing a lot of genealogy and catching up on family history, just for, curiosity's sake. And anyway, I just, remember looking at my grandfather, my great-great-grandfather, William Theodore Thompson, and his wife Susan Allen. And they left their religious origins. They were deeply convicted. They had a Protestant upbringing, and they left their family's faith and joined the Mormon Church, which is in stark contrast to what they were raised in. The Mormon Church believes in works over faith, believes in an afterlife where you're married and you have your own kingdom, and there's a celestial kingdom, and there's all these, differences anyway. And, the genealogy, they've baptized for the dead so that the dead have a second chance after life. And, all of that, in my opinion, is in stark contrast to Christianity. Yet they made that choice. They had firm conviction, and they left the upbringing of their family, and they moved to this new, controversial religion, which has vast differences from the Bible and teaches new doctrines. And yet, they did it anyway. Despite what their family thought, despite what their religious upbringing taught, despite a lot of things, they made a very bold and, very well thought, I'm sure, move to a new faith. And that's kind of where I felt like I'm at. I connect with, and my great-great-grandpa was born in March as well, just like me, and I think we had a lot of things in common. Birth dates, seem to have a lot of relevance to your personality and to your emotions and to the way you are. I've read this book called The Secret Language of Birthdays, and it, profiles each day of the year and the personality, the personology, as they call it, of the person of that day. And mine matches me very perfectly, and I'm sure it matches my great-great-grandfather. And that's another way I've been able to connect to my family in the past, is, to get to know who they were. I've looked up their birthdays in this book. Goldstein is one of the authors. I can't remember the other author, but it's a good book. It's huge. It's like that thick. And anyway, if I had the opportunity to tell my grandpa why I left the Mormon Church and what it was about, it wasn't to hurt him. It wasn't to rebel. It wasn't to shame the Mormon Church. I do have disagreements, public disagreements with the Mormon Church, but that's not why I left. I disagree with the Mormon Church, and I speak about it publicly because I think that there's differences that are not obvious to everybody, that the Mormon Church doesn't openly talk about, and I think that it's necessary to open that discussion up, because I think there is a discussion there that needs to be had, and I think it's important. But I love my grandpa. I'm grateful for him, and I will miss him, as well as my father and my brother, and a lot of people that have passed on that I've learned a lot from. So anyway, that does it for this video. I'm out of time. I'm going to upload this to YouTube and put it on houseofthompson.net. And by the way, there's a saying from Bob Marley that says, truth is, everybody is going to hurt you. It's just a matter of finding out, figuring out which ones are worth suffering for. And that's the truth for me. I'm not going to suffer for just everybody. I know people are going to hurt me, and I'm not afraid of that, but I'm just not going to continue to be hurt. So I'm going to find ones that deserve me and, my suffering. If I'm going to be hurt by them, it better be worth it. That's my only saying on this, as far as, moving on from family and calling things to an end.